In this episode of the GoGCast, we catch up on the latest Nintendo Direct, including the 40th anniversary of the Super Mario Brothers, Ditto going from Pokémon to a little girl, and the return of the Virtual Boy. So grab that power up and let's go!
Get ready for the Girls on Games podcast, your weekly dose of news, reviews, and everything video games. Always served with a good helping of hype and just a pinch of salt. And now, your host, Leah.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the Girls on Games podcast. Leah had to take a break because she went traveling for her job. She went to Kelowna for some music festivals. So I am Kat. I will be your host today, and joining me is Joelle. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, her schedule sounded bonkers bananas.
Yeah. And she said she's still on West Coast time and we're on the East Coast. So that is a couple of hours behind or ahead. Who knows? So it'll be just the two of us.
Yes.
Holding out the fort. Before we get started, I want to remind you folks that if you like this show, you can subscribe. This podcast is available on Apple Podcast, YouTube Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Podbean. Unfortunately, our merch store, the platform we're using, closed. We're right now looking at other options and designing new merch with our new logo. So stay tuned for that. But if you do want to support us, you can buy us a coffee. That's ko-fi.com/girlsongames. Let's do a little quick crew check-in. Joelle, anything exciting or just nursing that knee of yours?
Yeah, it's pretty much, it's appointment after appointment and ice after ice. That's icing my knee and it's a really slow go. So I had my physical therapy session today, Monday, and she was like, it wouldn't be a bad idea if you went to see the ortho, just to get maybe some peace of mind around the glacial pace that this thing is healing. So I did make an ortho appointment for this Wednesday, and then I go back to physical therapy on Thursday, and this bill of mine, when I get it for all these physical therapy appointments, is going to be a bit sad. So I don't know. It's slow going. I did though, however, do something pretty interesting, I think, over last Friday is I'm talking with a nutritionist actually, I've never seen a nutritionist before, and I wanted to just talk to someone about a professional, about nutrition and about what it means for me individually and specifically. And I asked her if I wanted to go get any assessments or tests done, what would you recommend I go do? And she recommended to get an RMR scan, which is a metabolic rate exam, and then also a DEXA scan, which measures your body composition. And so I was like, okay, I'll go do that. So I went and did that last Friday, and it was so interesting. So they for the DEXA scan, you lay on this table, and a little arm is over your head, and it scans you from head to toe, and it takes 15 minutes. You have to lay there really still, and this thing scans you. Okay. And it's scanning, and it checks your spine, it checks your hips, it checks your muscle mass, and it checks your arm. They do one arm, an arm kind of scan, and then it checks your trunk for visceral fat and all that kind of stuff. And so that took 15 minutes to do the whole thing. And then the metabolic rate test, they put a mask on you, and you have to sit on a table or sit somewhere and be very, very relaxed, but don't fall asleep. And you have to try to be in that state for 20 minutes.
Okay.
where you're just like
I
zoning out, but don't fall asleep. I was like, okay. And then that will tell you like what their predictive, what your predictive calorie intake like should be, like, quote unquote, and then how your metabolism is functioning like within your body, like is your metabolism functioning properly or whatever. So it was just really interesting, just of like I went in, and this was out of pocket. So, like, unfortunately, you can't get, insurance to cover any of this. But it was more so like for my own personal curiosity of like, okay, I want to go and I want to see like numbers of like more of like a scientific assessment of what am I like on paper in comparison. And if there was anything like I wanted to work on, what would this person like say I should work on? And it was really interesting. They also do bone density too, and like bone marrow health. So they do a lot. Like there's a lot that goes on in these scans. And so it was really, really good. And we had like a really good conversation about like my numbers and where I was at. And, it was also nice because the guy that was doing the interpretation of the data, he was never critical or like shameful or like mean, because sometimes people could be like, oh, like this is concerning or this is way out of range. Like you need to fix this immediately. It was just more like, here are your numbers. Here you're high, here you're low. If you wanted to fix these, this would be my recommendation, but this is totally up to you. And if you would like to change something, we recommend that you come back in 6 months to see if anything has changed, to get another scan. And they also talked about kind of incrementally, what should I expect to change? So it wasn't even like we expect all of your numbers to change and you to be, within the average thing, like after 6 months even. He was like, this will, he's like, if you wanted to change these things, it'll probably take you like about a year or a year and a half. I was like, oh. I was like, okay. So it was, I don't know, it was just really, really nice to it was just like kind of like no pressure. Like he wasn't selling me anything. I already paid for the test.
Yeah,
so it's like
you're
like,
there. He got his sale.
Yeah, he got the money, believe me. And yeah, like it was really, really interesting, and it was really kind of cool. And then I sent all the numbers to my nutritionist, and so she's gonna also look at them, and then kind of we're gonna talk about like what I would like if I would want to do anything with them or anything like that. So I don't know. It was kind of nice. It was nice that it's like I have now like factual information, as much as you like trust the equipment to give you these pieces. And then also as he was doing the reviews, he brought up like physical studies that have been done in the past year. So like current information on people that like have wanted to maybe change certain numbers, and like the small things that they did in order to like improve what they were looking to improve. So it wasn't even like, say like I wanted to like, if I wanted to lose visceral fat or if I wanted to gain muscle, it wasn't like, okay, you need to eat 200 grams of protein, you need to work out this much, you have to lift this much weights, like blah, blah, blah. It was nothing like that. It was just like, if you wanted to get into this range, here's what you can do. You should expect A, B, and C. Your body will not be able to do A, B, and C in this amount of time. It will probably take like, it won't take a month. It'll take 4 months or something. And so,
yeah. I feel a lot of like the influencers, you see like the health influencers, it's always like these scams, like get rich quick scam, get skinny quick scams. But the reality is like lifestyle changes take months for them to take effect and do a visceral change.
Yeah. So it was kind of neat. I was like, this is actually really nice of just like, and overall, like I had pretty good scores. Like my bones are super great. I was just like, oh, like they're higher than average. I'm like, all right, that sounds good. Yeah. I'm like, sounds good. And then, like my hips are fine. My back is fine. I was like, all right, one leg has more muscle than the other leg, which which is like normal in some cases, but I guess like
In a lot of cases, yeah.
Mine was a little bit more outside of the normal range. So
Okay.
he was like, maybe you should do extra lunges on this one leg than the other leg. So it was just kind of funny. I was like, oh, all right. And, so it was, and they do like your pelvis and stuff. So like for women, that's can be really helpful to know, like, how does that look? And like, is everything all right? There.
Yeah.
I guess I would just say, like, in addition to blood work, I found this to be really, really helpful, and the experience to be really, really positive. And the practitioner was also really, really great. So, again, it wasn't cheap, but I'm really glad that I did it, because I feel like I have, like scientific kind of numbers and facts in front of me, and then I can do with those like what I wish to do with them. So.
Yeah, because a lot of times they just kind of look at you and they try to determine things you should do, but it's hard when there's no like internal data, I guess.
Right.
And and when it comes to like healthy choices and changing like your body composition and whatnot, it always differs from person to person. And I think like the biggest thing I would say about like if people are looking to trainers and fitness influencers, a lot of them don't disclose what is genetic.
Right.
Like if you were to ask me like, Catherine, how are you so skinny? I've been skinny all my life. I'll be honest. There is no gatekeeping. I've been a skinny bitch since I was a baby. And a lot of these fitness influencers will not say that.
No.
I'm like, no, just eat like me and then you'll be skinny. It's like, no, you got to be like her. You got to be her.
You have to be her. Yeah. And that's why I liked these scans, because it was, very transactional. Like he's not selling me a diet plan after. It was just like.
No, he sold you the scan.
Yeah, he sold me the scan. And then also like it's in comparison to myself, really. So like for my mass, this is where I should be, with people that are also in my mass category. Like he's not saying like that there's this, I'm not being compared to like all these other people. It's like within myself, based on my own numbers, this is like what I am. And then it's like, okay, well I can make informed decisions about what that means. And they do tell you, like, if you have a certain number of like visceral fat or fat like in certain areas, I mean, they're going to tell you that, and they're going to say, if you're in this range, typically that means that you may be on the path to like these diseases. That's a trend that we've seen with these numbers. They're not telling you that you are that. They're just telling you like, hey, we see patterns in health, and like this is where you fall. And like he's not a doctor. He's not certified to do you anything or to treat you in any capacity. He's just trying to inform you with facts from studies. That's like all he's trying to do.
Basically, he's giving you your stats.
Yeah, he's giving you your stats, and he's saying like, now let's look at what the studies have said about these stats. Some of them like are amazing. Like you should have healthy bones forever. And, and then other times it's like, oh, look, okay, well, this is maybe something to think about, as you go forward in life. And so I don't know. And it was actually kind of cool timing, because I just wanted to try it because my nutritionist said like it could be helpful, and it'll be interesting to see what happens when I talk to her about it. And again, like I've surrounded myself with professionals like to help me interpret this data too. So it's not like I just did it and like now I feel like I have to go do something about it. It was just like, okay, I'm going to talk to people about how I should interpret this and if I should do anything. And then they also said that if you want to come back in 6 months to see if anything has changed, like you could do that. And it's really close to my birthday. And I thought, well, actually, like that might be kind of interesting. Like, do I want to make any changes and then see where I'm at in 6 months? And there also wasn't this pressure to have to be in a certain area in 6 months. He was just like, we want to see slow incremental changes. So like, I would expect your points to move like maybe like by 2 points or something. It's not like, he's like, it's unrealistic to think that you're going to change all these things within 6 months too. So I was like, okay. So
well, especially if they said that for most people, it takes up to a year.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know, just like another step in the health, like health journey of just information about myself. And too bad he couldn't tell me how to fix my knee, but it was just
Yeah.
that's like anything on that, and he's like, no, the machine won't pick up anything like that. And I was like, fine. But that's what I did.
Oh, that's quite interesting. I did the actual opposite. I went off the deep end and I went to the restaurant twice in 2 days, which is
Oh, wow.
I know, right? Unfortunately, we had somebody leave our team at work. She had to move back home, so she had to leave Montreal. So we had her goodbye lunch. We went for ramen. I haven't had proper, like, non-instant ramen, like actual traditional ramen in ages. It was amazing. I had forgotten how delicious and creamy that broth was. I was like, oh. The only thing is they didn't do the onsen eggs or like the soft boiled eggs. They did the marinated eggs.
How was that?
It was good, but I prefer the soft boiled eggs. I like the egg to go to like just kind of like drip into the the ramen and whatever. This was the eggs were like gelatinous because they had been chilled, right?
Oh yeah.
But it was really good. Really enjoyed it. And then Friday we kind of like crashed out after a long week, and we went for smash burgers. Because that's another thing that I can't really nail at home. Mind you, my brother bought a Blackstone, and if I really wanted, I could learn and use the Blackstone. However, I hate cooking outside. So there's that. I love eating outside. I hate doing it outside for some reason. Yeah, so we just went to our favorite spot called Mange dans mon Hood. It's near Jean-Talon Hospital. It's in a basement. So we just kind of go down, we order, and then they always have tables outside. And it was a beautiful day. It was like 18 degrees Celsius. I don't know. That's 60, upper 60s.
Yeah. I think it's
Fahrenheit.
somewhere in the 60s. Yeah.
Yeah. It's, for me, it's weather. For my spouse, it's still t-shirt and shorts, but whatever. We just sat outside with a bunch of strangers and we just had our burgers, and it was amazing. But other than that, it was a very, very quiet week because it was very busy at work. And I have a milestone to hit on this Thursday. So your girl is chugging along.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got some good eats. But then this weekend we went to a grocery store and I went back into my full cooking mode. We did go hit the bakery though, because my sister-in-law gave us some of the homemade strawberry jam that she made with the kids. So we were like, I got to have croissants with strawberry jam, obviously.
Obviously.
So I went to the bakery, got some croissant, got some crusty bread, and I made tomato soup for dinner. We had with a little crusty bread and stuff like that. So it was just amazing. All we did all weekend was basically eat.
Oh, that sounds so comforting and like wholesome and healing in its own way, though, right? Because it's like feeding yourselves like good food that you like, and good company. Like that is the best.
Yeah, and we have a friend who's coming to visit us from Toronto, not Leah, unfortunately, but a friend of my spouse is coming for a weekend 2 weeks from now. So I've actually been kind of finding spots and stuff for us to go, and she wanted to see the food scene. So we settled on, I'll have to circle back to it like in 2 or 3 episodes from now. But I booked a table at Chez Roger, which is a bar and pub near Cinéma Beaubien, if you know Montreal. They used to film a show there, a talk show. So for those of you who watched French TV, it was called La soirée est encore jeune. The evening is young. It was filmed there up until the pandemic, and then it stopped. But the restaurant is still there. The restaurant and the bar and the bistro is still there. They have amazing steak frite. So she wanted to like discover like the city, and she's come to Montreal and did the touristy stuff. She just wants to see like where Pascal and I hang. So I started to make a list of like stuff we can do around where I live, around less touristy spots. But yeah, that's pretty much where I've been You went for a body scan for your metabolism. I, like always, had food on the brain.
Well, like it's so that I can know that what kind of food I have on the brain, and then what does that mean? It's more of like being curious about it rather than like. But yeah, I did. I went in a more scientific direction. You went just by your heart,
just by feeling, and yeah. But with that, let's have a quick look at the Fantasy League, because we are winding down slowly but surely. Most people have all their slots filled, and we're just like waiting for games to release. Podcast League, it is hot on the Podcast League. We have no bids, no drops. We're mostly full rosters on the podcast list. I think the only thing missing is yourself and Leah need your last counter pick.
Yeah.
The only game that released was Borderlands 4. Critic 85, points 15. That's on my list. And that propelled me to first place. Our current ranking in the podcast league is myself, then Leah, then Joelle. But the points are really close. Like, I'm sitting at 147, Leah's at 141, and you're at 134. And we still have a lot of hot ticket items to release on all of our lists. So that one is anybody's game. Because you have Ghost of Yote on your list, so I think you're gonna pass me.
But I also have. I have some good. I have some pretty solid releases coming up. So yeah,
all three of us got some pretty bangers there that's left not yet released. So still anybody's game on the podcast league.
It really is.
Community League, we have a bit more action. So Borderlands 4 was on Pugs and Pixels list. That's Jessica Starr. So she got the 15 points for that. And the other thing was Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 Legacy of the Forge. That's on my list, the Itty Bitty Kitty Games Publishing Committee. But there's no open critic link. So I have no score and no points for that. So we'll circle back to it next week. On the bids front, we have Winter Burrow that was won by Ferret Tales. That's Margot. That's a counterpick. She counterpicked it for $12. And then Jessica Starr picked up Hotel Barcelona for a bid of $7. There were no drops this week. So the current standings of the podcast league, and we had quite a bit of movement because of Silksong in there. So right now we have Ross, Pat, Margot, myself, Albin, Fred, Jessica Starr, Leah, Darth Stridius, Phoenix, and JK, Simon, Stainsby Kingsby, and then yourself, Joelle, that still has 0 points. None whatsoever.
Yay! At this point,
you might as well go for like the inverse. Just go for the least.
That's right.
Point.
Least amount. That's what I'm doing. I'm gonna fail. I'm gonna gloriously fail.
Just crash and burn.
Yep, that's right.
And then, before we get into the news, which spoiler alert is just going to be the Nintendo Direct, because that shit was meaty. It was juicy. It was packed. For myself, I'm still playing Final Fantasy 16, and then the new season of SkyCards came out.
Oh.
So, for those of you who are playing, they're introducing seasons. They say they're going to last about 6 months. A lot of the reason they want seasons is to readjust plain rarity.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So there's a lot of new things, new mechanics. I'm not up to date on everything because I don't battle. So I think there's a lot of new battling mechanics. Now you have a stamina mechanic, which is basically called fuel. So you can get items to refuel your cards and stuff like that if you battle a lot. For the plane catching mechanic now, to get your 2 coins for a perfect shot, you have to get both vectors right. You used to get a coin for the the cropping of the airplane, and then a coin if you had 0 clouds. Now you need to get 0 clouds and a good crop of the plane to get both coins. If not, you don't get any. If your photo's not perfect, you also get a XP penalty. So I think they're a lot less generous in terms of coins and in terms of XP to really slow down progression there. And you have to recatch all your cards. So now it'll say if it's a new card this season.
Ah, okay.
Before they had wiped all the progress, but now the community, like the long-term collectors, were complaining.
Right.
They don't wipe the tail number.
Okay.
So if you've caught this game, an airplane in season 0, the tail number won't say new anymore. So for a lot of people that were trying to collect, like let's say myself, I was trying to collect every Canadian airplane out there. I wanted to have the whole Air Canada fleet, the whole PAL airline fleet, the whole WestJet fleet, the whole Porter, you name it, Nolière and Air Kuujjuaq, all that jazz. So they've redone that. So you have to rebuild your deck for season 1. There's also airport tasks. I have a complaint about that. When you fly to an airport, you travel to an airport, you can complete some tasks. And if you complete some tasks, you get stuff like including getting permanent blue sky for a certain amount of time, like get rid of all the clouds. You still have to travel even if you are, and spend the coin, even if you are next to the airport. I've had people say, I am physically in the airport and I still have to pay to travel to the airport to complete the tasks.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I think like I think that's a bit scummy in that sense.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I haven't looked at what kind of tasks the airports tasks are and what kind of they give. Like if they give a lot of coin, maybe it is worth it to spend the coin to go. But it's just like they've readjusted the prices of traveling. Like they've readjusted the economy. Like they used to be very, very generous. Like I used to bask in coins. Right now it's definitely not as generous. So I'm not traveling as much as I used to. I'm not doing as much airport hopping as I used to. So I haven't done any of the tasks and looked at the mechanic to see that maybe it is worth it. It's just, I find it weird that I am in my radar naturally on the island of Montreal. Like I have the Montreal National Airport, Yule. I have Mirabel, which is for cargo now, YMX. And I also have like two smaller airports on the South Shore. And all of them, I would have to travel and spend coins to do the tasks. And I'm just like...
Yeah. Like, why? Why you gotta restrict us, man?
Exactly. So at first, I didn't play for a while because I got really discouraged by having to rebuild my collection. But once they fixed the tail number thing, and I could see if it was indeed like a brand new plane, not something that I've caught before. It kind of reset the collector hamster gremlin in my brain, and we were like, okay, yeah, my precious. That was fine. I was okay. I also know they did it because like I had a friend who was like burnt out on the collecting. He's like, I'm not going to collect the same 20-8s that fly around here. Like, what's the point?
Right.
For me, as the more I collected, the more was to find stuff I hadn't collected yet, right? It wasn't like a collectathon anymore. It was more like a hunt. And then saving my coins to go to other airports. So when they just reset everything, I just got like, what?
Yeah. Oh, I think that's like where I'd be like, what? Like,
yeah, it really knocked the wind out of me.
Yeah.
But then when they said, okay, well, we'll keep the tail numbers so that, you know, you've collected it in the past. I was like, okay, no, I'm good. My brain reset and I was like, okay.
Yeah. This is fine.
Yeah, a lot of people just hated the change. And a lot of people fell off the app. That's why I kind of wanted to gatekeep it. I'm like, no, please don't make it shittier.
that what was fun about it is like you could kind of progress so quickly because then you could unlock more things to do a little bit faster. So
Yeah.
like I thought, yeah, I liked that part of it too, where it's like I feel like I'm getting really good momentum, which is making me want to keep going. And that
Yeah.
gets hard when then it feels like grindy right at the beginning. So it's like, well, this isn't quite as fun anymore. But
Well, I think the beginning is not so bad because if you level up, because the first levels are pretty quick, and every time
yeah.
you level up, it resets your photos and they give you coins, right? The
Mhm.
reason I was slowing down in terms of coin is I stopped leveling up.
Mhm.
I don't know. I was either max level or it's just like these levels take so much XP, right?
Yeah.
So I was grinding coins by taking perfect photos.
Yeah.
So I was spending coins to go to airports to do my achievements. Just before they reset the achievements, I like we were talking last time, I did the American All-Star, and I was gonna do the one for Latin America.
Mhm.
And then new season started, and it just kind of like they changed the balance, they changed the economy, and I was like, can I afford this? Is my question. But yeah, I just went back to collecting locally. I'm gonna up my coins and then see if I can do a bit of airport hopping down south. I'm still trying to stock some planes near Australia because that's when you get the flights to Antarctica. But you have to catch at the right time because they don't always put in their destination, and you got to catch it when it's really close to the continent, and then you can get your achievements, the penguin achievement. But if you're really like want to stock them, look into the official Discord server or Reddit. They do a lot of notifications when there are planes for that. But
cool.
yeah, so essentially it's becoming fall up for us in the northern hemisphere. That means it's summer down south. So that means that excursions to Antarctica are going to start again. And you're going to see more planes in and out.
The critical thinking that one must do in order to get this penguin achievement is quite something. You need to hydrate.
Yes.
Keep hydrated.
Yeah.
Make sure to stretch. You know.
Yeah. Can't sleep at night. Go look around Australia. See if you can get that airplane. Usually they're Boeing Globemasters. Those big chonkers. Yeah. But that's pretty much it for me. It's just trekking along Final Fantasy 16. Every time I get stuck on a boss, and then I go to the other side of it, I'm like, yeah, progression. And then I meet another boss, and I'm like, fuck you.
No.
And that's it. And so it's been really slow because I'm not really good at this game. Holy shit, I'm terrible. I can't nail the timing for the perfect parry and the perfect dodges. I whiff like half of them.
Oh my gosh. And you played Claire Obscura. You should be
yes.
a dodging and parrying master.
Yes. I think it's like the timing is not as obvious. Yeah. Or I'm still on Claire Obscure timing. I don't know. But I've been struggling recently with Final Fantasy 16. So, but I will finish it before Ghost of Yote. I will find a way.
Yep. You got the timer is ticking down.
Yes. What about you, Joelle? Have you had time to play?
Yes. So, and speaking of like running into bosses sequentially, so I need to authorize an official apology and pull the foot out of my mouth because last podcast I was like, I think this game's easier than the first release. I'm like doing so well. And then I just got totally I totally fell on my face, and like the increments of difficulty are not small like in this game.
Okay.
It's just like, oh, you figured that out? Cool. Now here's a totally different thing that you haven't been doing this entire time. And we're going to make you do really, really hard stuff. Like, have fun. And it is now harder. I'm like,
much
I've hit the point where I'm like, oh, this is harder now. But I am still progressing.
Okay.
More than I was in Hollow Knight. And so I think that's probably why, again, like I might think it's like easier, but it's because I'm actually getting there. Mm-hmm. But I do know, like, I have been watching some speed runs of it because it's just insane that the speed runs are already out. And the first one that I saw, the world record was like an hour and 20 minutes to defeat the whole thing.
Wow. No exploits?
No. Mm-mm.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then today, like 4 days later, the world record is now under an hour. It's 57 minutes.
Holy shit.
And they've already found ways to skip entire sections, and not like, obviously that's the whole point, is like they don't play through the whole game, but they've already like found ways, like they already found major skips. They're already routing optimal like power-ups and things like that. Like it's really, really something. And I don't watch the whole thing because I don't want to spoil it, but a part of me is like, how are they doing this? And I do find it helpful to like watch. I don't really stick on bosses very long. Like if I die about 4 times and I'm really not kind of getting their pattern, I just look up someone playing it because it's just helpful to watch. And so I've just decided like I'm just going to get help sooner rather than later. And it's just, they've said that the end game like is insane. And so we'll see how far I get. I really would love to finish this game. I hope I can finish this game, but I'm just going to kind of keep trucking, and I'll probably still be playing it through Ghost of Yotai, I'm going to be guessing. But it is so fun. Like it is very fun. Defeating the bosses is very satisfying. What makes it, I would say, I think like for me, what makes it the most challenging is that the hits that you take are pretty brutal. So like you can't really get hit that often. You only have like 5 hits, and sometimes the bosses will take like 2 or 3 hits like in one shot. So you really got to play. You have to be very skilled, I will say, to play aggressively. You can't just like go in and like try to muscle your way like through something. And also the hitbox on the bosses, I think sometimes are a bit silly. Like sometimes they're big, like they're bigger than what you think they are. They're inconsistent, I think, like within like the body shape. And so like if you knock a boss to the ground, depending on the boss's orientation, like if their head is facing you or their feet are facing you, their hitboxes, I feel like, are different pixel measurements. And so
could be.
And it's just like, I'm like, oh, because I'll stand in one spot and hit them, and then if I don't defeat them, when I try again and they fall, but like their orientation is different from the first time, like I'll get hit, and I'm like, I'm standing in the same spot. So it's something, but defeating the bosses is really, really satisfying. You just feel so victorious, and some of the platforming is really hard. Yeah, and I like a good like platform and movement, but this is a little different. It's just like I feel like I've never played any platforming game ever when I play this game, and I'm like, how did they do that? Like, how did they do that in 2025 and make you think like you don't know shit about platforming when you play this game?
They're really refreshing the genre. I guess that's why they're so popular.
Yeah, it is really interesting. It's a really different way to play this type of game, and it's so fun. The music's so good. The characters are so enjoyable. Once you get the movement too, like once you get it down, you pretty much then have learned it, which is really nice. So like once you get that muscle memory down, then you can go through and traverse, and you don't seem to have as much of an issue. So that's kind of nice too, that they've kept things really consistent in that way. But like, man, like, is it is brutal. I was like, oops, I spoke too soon. But it is fun. It is a fun game. I could almost see too, like, if I don't finish it, putting it down for a little bit and then going back to it and then seeing how quick I progress like through those early stages, just because you know so much more. But it is very fun. So
it apparently deserves all the praise. I've seen some clips of it on, YouTube and social media here and there, and it looks like gorgeously executed, and everybody's
is.
complaining about how like challenging it is, but in a good way. I don't
Yeah.
think I've heard anybody like, I know you've just complained about hitboxes, but I think in general, not a lot of people are acting as if the game is unfairly hard. I think
No, some people have talked about like the number of hits like an enemy can take off of you. Like you only have 5 hits and then you're dead. And sometimes an enemy can take like 3 or 4 in one shot, and you're like, okay, good. So this is like a one shot like issue, which does kind of stink. But also then it's just like, well, figure out how to play where you don't get hit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Because I think it's hard when it comes to challenging game. It's hard to find a balance of skill and not feeling like the thing is unfair.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you like that, if it's basically the David and Goliath.
Mm-hmm.
Really like to give you the chance that you gotta be able. So far I've heard nobody say like this game is hard, but it's unfair. So everybody's like this game is hard, but you always find you can see how you can defeat the boss. It's just hard to execute.
It is really hard to execute, and like I said, like at least like I mean, I think there is also props to the game design where like I'll feel I don't think I've encountered a boss yet where I'll fight it like 3 times and I'll feel like there's just no way. I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna beat this. Usually I'm like, I think I can do this. I just need to focus on this. Or I bet if I give it a few more rounds, like I'll be able to do it. And so I guess like I also think that's really helpful for me where I can see progression like each time I do it because they have given you a lot of clues. And also once you figure out like movement patterns, just like the first time, like sometimes bosses require you to move around a lot. Other times they don't. Like you kind of want to stay close to them, but then you have to be really good at knowing when they're going to strike so you don't get hit. So I just think it's really fun, and it is so polished too. Like I think it looks better and runs better than the first game, and also the items are a little bit more fun. Like the quest items and side quests to do are fun and engaging and have really good items and purpose behind them. And like your builds, you have options for builds, which you didn't have in the first game too. You can choose different crests to use with different items that you find, which is fun because then if you decide you want to play a different style, then you can do that. So I don't know. It's a really great game. I have seen a few people that talk about like they're not great at games, but they wanted to play this game. And there's then a barrier to entry, just like a Souls game would be, where it's like if it's just, or like an Elden Ring, where I was like, I don't want to play this anymore. Like this is not fun. It is hard in that sense, but for me, like it's not like that where I'm like, what am I doing? Like I don't even know what I'm doing, and so and there is progression where if you get to a boss, they're going to give you something to help you defeat that boss. But the speed, if you're interested, like the speed runs are super fun to watch right now because they're so fast and they're finding new things, and it is just crazy how quick it's how quick it's going. But yeah.
All right. Well, good. Well, let us know if you actually make it through this game. We'll keep watch on that. But that being said, this is a video game podcast, so let's play a game about video games. And this week, I am bringing a round of Pokémon or City Name.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm kind of sad that Leah's missing this one because I think she would have nailed this.
I know. I feel like you're wasting it on me.
But essentially, I have a list of 6 names. There are 3 cities that are present in Canada or the United States. And I have 3 Pokemons.
Okay.
And you have to tell me which is which.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm just going by alphabetical order. So don't try to psych yourself. She said a Pokemon, so it's got to be a city next. No. It's literally just like every other time, alphabetical order. So our first entry is Amarillo.
Oh, that's a city.
It is.
Yes, Texas.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's probably pronounced amarillo because it's the Spanish word for yellow.
Yeah.
Is the Texas Panhandle. It's a gateway to the vast trail line Palo Duro Canyon State Park. The Cadillac Ranch is an installation of graffiti-decorated cars, partly buried in a field. It looks like a really place. I was looking to maybe it was a red herring for Leah because we do have armadillo.
Okay. As a Pokemon?
There's an armadillo Pokemon, which I remember is it's called, I think is it called armadillo? I forget.
Yeah. Well, that could be really easy. I was thinking, I'm like, I'm sure there's a Pokemon that's like an armadillo, but I'm like, that's a city. I know that city, so yeah.
Amazing. Our second entry is Beldum.
Beldum?
Beldum.
I think that's a city, but I think it's a Canadian city.
It's a dual-type, still psychic Pokemon introduced in Generation 3.
Oh, no. See, I don't know any of these Pokemon. All right.
Our third entry, Durango.
Durango?
Durango.
I feel like that could go either way.
That's the point of the game.
I know.
I highly curate these.
States the obvious. Durango. I'm gonna say that's you only have 3 Pokemon, so I'm gonna say that's a city.
It is. It's a small city in southwestern Colorado near the New Mexico border. 19th century Durango and Silverton narrow gauge railroad. The steam train passes mountains and canyons.
I was gonna say it sounds very western. I was like, there's got to be horses associated with this city. Okay.
There's a railroad museum there.
Ooh.
Yeah. Our second, now we're on our fourth entry.
Yeah.
Igloo Lick.
That's...
Igloo Lick.
You're also saying that so confidently, which makes me think it might be a city. Because it's like... I'm gonna say that's a city.
It is. It's an Inuit hamlet in Fox Basin in the Nunavut in the Qikiqtaluk region. Sorry, you'll have to excuse my pronunciation. My Iqaluit is non-existent. But yeah, because its location on Igloo Lick Island is close to Melville Peninsula, it is often mistakenly thought to be on that peninsula, but it's not. And little fun fact, the name Igloo Lick means there is a house here. So igloo, which is house, and lick here. So there's a house here.
You don't lick the houses, like the verb.
No. So we learned some Inuktitut today.
We sure did.
All right. Last 2 entry, we have Oshawott.
Say that again.
Oshawott.
That's a Pokemon.
It is. It's a water type Pokemon and introduced in Generation 5. It's actually one of the starters.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Way.
I was going for a curveball, even though it's a starter, because we have a city in Canada called Oshawa. So I was like,
okay.
Maybe
I was again like, obviously this could go either way, but then I'm like, well, we have one more Pokemon left, so.
Our last entry is Stakataka.
That's a city.
It's a dual-type Rock-Steel Ultra Beast Pokemon introduced in Generation 7 in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon.
Fine. It's a Pokemon.
I wanted to find like some good stuff without like not relying too much on indigenous city names.
Yeah, there you go.
But there's a lot of like, in terms of like, if you look at like the some of the Japanese name that they've kept for the Pokemons, with a lot of like the indigenous names, especially up north with the Inuktitut, I was like, holy shit, there's a correlation there. Maybe there's a lot of like, it's completely different writing system and pronunciation, but it's just in terms of like arranging a lot of like the vowels and the consonants. I just saw there was a lot of like similarities where it could be like very confusing for some people to be like, no, that might be a Japanese word.
Yeah, that's why I thought, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do about this, because this is, I was just like, I don't know. But no, that was pretty good. You'll have to reprise that later on.
Yes.
For later.
I got to look for more like weird city names.
Yep.
Little fun fact, Durango is actually it was the code name for the Xbox One.
Really?
Yeah, when I do stuff at work, we have stuff that's still named Durango from like the pre-E3 time. And I was like, what the fuck is Durango? And everybody's like, Xbox. I'm like, what the
that makes no sense.
That makes no sense. But yeah, no, we actually have a naming convention, and we still use the code word for Durango for Xbox, the code word for PlayStation 4.
That's wild.
Yeah, to name the platforms. It's just a little tidbit for you guys.
Insider info. That's great.
Yeah. So on that note, we're going to take a short break, and we're going to come back with news, which is everything Nintendo Direct. So don't go anywhere. And we're back. So in case you missed it, there was a Nintendo Direct on the 12th of September, which is Friday. They always have these things at 9 a.m. So sometimes I can watch them. Sometimes I cannot. I ended up watching it later on 2x speed because I love to speed run my game announcements, as you might know.
World record.
Yes. World 50 minutes for Silksong. Yeah, I need half an hour for a Nintendo Direct. I think the biggest thing straight off the bat from this announcement, it was and this is going to make your knees hurt even more and your back. It was the 40th anniversary of Super Mario Brothers.
That is exciting and also devastating at the same time.
To learn, yes. It's just, I am as old as the Super Mario Brothers, by the way.
That's how we're gonna count age now. How old are you?
Yeah.
As old as a Super Mario Brother. Thank you very much.
Which video game franchise is the same age as you?
That's right.
But yeah, for the 40th of Super Mario Brothers, they announced two things: Super Mario Galaxy. So the next Mario movie is Super Mario Galaxy. So cool. Very exciting.
Very exciting.
Because I think this is like very a darling games, called classics. They really redefined how we play Mario using the 3D environments. So next year, we're getting the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Same cast of characters. Yeah. Chris Pratt, Charlie Day, Jack Black. I forget her name. The girl who played
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then Toad as Michael Keegan-Michael Key, I think.
Yeah.
It says Toad. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So looking really forward to that. What I was both looking forward to and then got a bit like a bit disenchanted was there's a game bundle coming on October 4th for both Mario Galaxy games together for both Switch 1 and Switch 2.
Yep.
However, it is a full price game for both. I mean, the bundle together is $100 US.
Right. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I was like, do I really want to pay like 120 Canadian dollars to replay these games? I've played the first one, but not the second.
The first one was so good. I got halfway through the second, I think, and then I lost interest. But they're so good. So, like, I guess on some level, if you want to replay one, you might as well get the other one because you're getting the other one. Like, I think it's cheaper to buy them together than it is to buy them separately, unless you definitely don't want to buy.
Are they going to be for sale separately? I thought it was just the bundle.
I thought they were going to be. I could be wrong. I thought that they were going to be.
I just saw the price of I went to pre-order the bundle, and I was like, "Oh God! That is
never mind.
That is a full price, new price."
Yep. Mm-hmm.
For both, which is amazing game, a lot of content, but it's still just a port. I was hoping they would give us some old price Nintendo.
Oh.
But yeah, but that is exciting. I love that when they bring back old games like that. New game, there's Mario Tennis coming February 12th. Mario Tennis Fever. If you like the Wii Sport, it will support the Joy-Con movement for you to just kind of swing your stuff.
Yeah,
and then
go ahead. Sorry.
But the Fever mechanic is basically there's like 30 types of different rackets.
Yeah,
like a fire racket, an ice racket, a void racket. Like, you think we're kidding? We're not.
Well, and also it has like the special. So like they're taking out from Mario Wonder. You can get all these different power ups too. So you get the flower, and the flower, like it had that. It took you to like a special space with Mario Wonder, and so they have the same thing with this flower. So like you hit the flower, and with the Fever racket, and it will like elephants will come on to the court, or like a special effect will happen, and it's got that flower power type of theme. And this actually looks really, really fun in my opinion. Like, it's been a hot minute since I've picked up a Wii like sport game, and I thought this looked really interesting. It also, there's new movements apparently that you can do. There's new slides and reaches and jumps, and also it will detect like the if you use the Joy-Cons, it detects the force in like which you're swinging it. So if you want to like tap, it should tap. If you want to just go full throttle and whack the crap out of the ball, like it will also do that too. So this sounds like I thought I was like, this actually looks kind of interesting. I'm sure
it looks so chaotic.
It does, but it looks the best way.
They looked at Mario Wonder, and they looked at like Mario Kart when stuff gets out of like just out of control, and they're like, what if they were playing tennis?
Yeah, what if?
And then we just give them like, Super Smash Bros, just give them the stuff, have ice and fire and water, and anti-gravity fields on the field, like whatever.
It's just when they skill.
They showed like 2 or 3 Fever rackets, and they're like, upwards of 30 Fever rackets. I was like, God damn.
I know. I was like, "Holy cow!" I guess that's what we're gonna be playing now.
I was honestly, that's the kind of thing I would pick up just for party games, like to cycle out of Mario Kart once in a while. And speaking of Mario Wonder, they announced the Switch 2 edition with a multiplayer extension called Bella Bell Park. And Bella Bell Park is basically like a little park, like a mini zone. Almost like we had like old school DS, and then you have challenges to do basically party games, like little party to do outside of like the levels of Mario Wonder, but with the same amount of chaos of like just 4 people on screen trying to play the same game.
Yep.
But that one looks like, I think Bella Bell Park is a free edition. I hope so, because again, Mario Wonder, not a cheap game, even though it is just a Switch 2 edition. But I think that's one you could put on your list if you haven't played Mario Wonder on the Switch one. I think that's if you're gonna backlog that game, might as well get the one with the new edition.
Yeah, I agree, and it was a fun game. And so if you're like Mario platformers, like it wasn't terribly difficult, but there was some challenging pieces. So I thought, I think it's worth picking up if you're interested.
And then finally, in spring, we'll be getting Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, which is essentially a Yoshi game where you play through a children's book. So this one will probably be more accessible, be more like towards children. But they also announced that they're going to make a physical. No, that was for Mario Galaxy. I'm sorry. There's a story.
Mario. Yes.
There's a storybook in Mario Galaxy, and they're making a physical copy of that book. And then they announced a Yoshi and the Mysterious Book game.
That's right, yeah.
Where you play through a storybook as Yoshi with a little friend on your back, with little flowers.
Yeah. Shout out to literacy and promoting books.
Yes.
Nintendo.
Y'all should be reading to your kids.
That's right.
And And then I'm gonna speed read a few of the announcements so that we can circle back to an announcement where I was like, "What the fuck?" So there's a lot of like little indie games in there.
Mhm.
We're not gonna name everything because this podcast is already like over an hour. But some of the like standout announcements for me was the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection coming October 30th. So just like a collection of old classic Mortal Kombat games, and including a documentary on how they made the old games.
So
like
cool.
how they captured the footage, how they used it in game.
Mhm.
Shout out for them using the toasty meme in the announcement.
Yep.
Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade coming to Switch January 22nd. I think that one's been out for a while on PlayStation.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah. But the announcements everybody wanted to know, Hades 2 officially announced for September 25th on Switch, a timed exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
So we know Hades is coming to PC, Xbox, and PlayStation as well. We don't know when, but it's coming to Switch first.
Yep. And
which I thought is surprising.
It is surprising because it's obviously, it's also already been out. I know it's just the beta, like this is the official game, but it's also been out on PC for over a year. So this is kind of nice, like to see them like give the timed exclusive like to the Switch too. I think it's just kind of a nice little nod and like little gift that they're like, all right, you can Super Giant Games is like, sure, Switch 2, like you can have this because we didn't really include you in the other one. So that's cool. And it's really cool to see the new kind of art style, the new trailer, the new excitement. Like I think it has definitely reignited my curiosity to actually play like the game again. And I will I don't know if I'll get it for the Switch just because if I'm traveling, that game's a little hard to play. Like for me in particular, just like I wouldn't like or Silksong is also kind of hard to play. Like just like holding it with all of the buttons that you have to use like to do all your abilities. And I don't know, I just don't. I'd rather use a controller. And I know you could use a controller, but I don't travel with a controller. So but it's just nice to see that it's coming and it'll be fun. It'll be finally released, which is hilarious. But
yeah, I'm hoping the PC release won't follow behind. Won't follow by. It won't take too long after the Switch release. But so far, the full game slate alongside. The PC version will be coming out on September 25th. It's a console exclusive to Switch.
Okay, console exclusive. All right.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I'm like, if they have the beta on PC, why are they doing that for the people that have been playing for a year? That makes more sense. And then the Dragon's Quest VII Reimagine, which is a full 3D Dragon Quest game.
Yep.
I was like, holy crap, they remade it. Like the art style is like really very Dragon Quest, I forget the name of the guy, but it's the guy who makes Dragon Ball. It's in his style. But they made a full 3D remake. That's amazing. And usually they just do like upscaled pixel remakes. But this one was like, I actually thought the art style really rendered well for 3D.
It did look, I was like, this is impressive. I think I first thought it was, I didn't think it was reimagined. I didn't think it was a port or a
you thought it was reboot. A new game?
I thought it was a new game because I don't know the franchise. And I was like, oh wow. I was like, look at that. And then I think that's great. I think it's giving love to the Dragon Quest community, which I'm sure really appreciates it because it's they're diehard players.
I wonder how long it's been since the new Dragon Quest game. I feel like they're always making remakes and stuff and ports.
I don't know.
Maybe they're not making new Dragon Quest games. So that's why they keep remaking.
They're porting. Yeah, there's porting.
But right off the tail of that, then they were like, hey, update to the Nintendo Online catalog. How about Virtual Boy games? So 14 classic Virtual Boy games are coming to Nintendo Online, and they're selling a new Virtual Boy accessory. So for all my sweet summer children listening here, in the early 90s, I want to say, they sold the Virtual Boy, which was a virtual reality headset where you played 3D games. And it was monochrome games. It was red against a black background. And that shit would destroy your eyes. And I think it was an attachment or an extension of the Nintendo Entertainment System, I want to say. Or was it for the SNES?
I don't know, but I'm guessing that it was for the SNES, given it said virtual. I can't imagine. Let me just double check on that. But the Virtual Boy.
But it was honestly, it was the stupidest accessory. It was crazy expensive. No, it was a console in itself, and it released in 1995.
It was a tabletop 3D game console from Nintendo. So it was an independent piece that it's just like kind of the remake that's coming out. It sat on the table. So it has these, it looks like the thing that you like go to the eye doctor and you got to put your face in and they do the glaucoma test. Sorry if that triggers anyone, but like you got to put your face in the goggles, and then there's two like feet that come out. So it has to sit on a table, and then apparently you have to like lean into it. Yeah. Which it looks like he was doing in the video. And then you have a controller that you use to control the whatever's happening on screen. And so it doesn't look like that comfortable, honestly, to play. Like, I kind of wish they would have just given you a headset. I don't know why they kept this table thing. But I don't know.
Essentially what's coming out for you to play these Virtual Boy games is an accessory that looks like the old school Virtual Boy, but you can slip your Switch into.
Correct.
And they're also making the cardboard version of it, which, if you remember those Nintendo cardboard bullshit, it had like an augmented reality headset that you could use with the Switch as well.
Is that what the cardboard one is? The cardboard one is like because I was really confused. I was like, why would you buy this cardboard one?
Because I think the Virtual Boy accessory, I mean, like the console itself sold, like according to Wikipedia, was $180 USD when it came out. That's the equivalent of $370 in 2024. That's a whole chunk of change. So I don't know, like this Virtual Boy accessory is $100.
Wow.
Am I on Nintendo.com or .ca? Yes. So I'm seeing it listed for 110 Canadian dollars for this accessory. And this is just a thing to slip your Switch in. So if you have the Switch 2, of course, you have your controller already. I don't know how much the cardboard version will be, but that is expensive to play 14 games. And the Virtual Boy was niche as fuck.
Yeah.
So this feels very much like they don't want to give us, I guess, Wii games, because they're still taking those games and making them as Switch 2 releases or remakes, or they're not considered classic now that we have GameCube games. Or no, have they made it to GameCube in classics, or they stopped at the 64?
No, they have GameCube, but you have to do a different tier though, because I had one tier and it only got me certain consoles, and then I'm like, oh, I have to do another tier
for the 64 and
for the 64 and the GameCube, and I was like, oh, well,
now you.
I thought maybe I'll dip into the 64 realm because I missed that console release, and so I thought, well, I could go back and take a look-see, and then I was like, oh, I need to pay more money, and I'm like, well, maybe not right now. Maybe it's one of those things where like I rotate, like maybe I'll take off my Game Pass and put that back on, or I mean, I don't know.
But imagine now you can upgrade that tier and then buy something for $100.
Wonderful. I love that.
To give you a headache, so you could play 14 classic Virtual Boy games. I mean, it's a very Nintendo announcement. This made about 20 people very happy. They will sell the Virtual Boy to these 20 people, and maybe an extra 10 that are curious, and then we'll never speak of it ever again.
Yeah, this is not it. Like I was actually hoping that it would have been an actual Nintendo VR piece, like that would have. And they probably don't want to compete in that space, but I guess a part of me was like, this would have been neat if it was an actual VR headset. And when you bought it, these retro games like came installed on it, right? That's like, if you want it, then you get this, and then we're gonna create games for this. But you're just using your Switch. Like that's what it doesn't hold anything.
Yeah, at first I thought it was like when they did the Nintendo Mini and the Super Nintendo Mini. I thought that was that they were doing a Virtual Boy Mini.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if they've done in the past. I didn't realize it was an accessory, and then I had to pay my subscription to pay the 14 games for that one accessory. It is... Yeah. Nintendo gets a pass for some of the weirdest cash grabs ever just because they're Nintendo, and we are fucking nostalgic for it. I'm sorry, I am... I am a bit baffled by this one. But kudos on them for trying shit. Well, you know, they do a lot of innovation in this space, so we got to give them that.
Well, a part of me also didn't know what they were, like, if there was any other purpose behind this. Like, are they trying to test the waters for VR? I don't know. But I also think, like, this isn't the way to do it because the price tag is so high.
Yeah.
I don't know. I also was like, why? And then also, how does it know you're connected to the Virtual Boy? Can you play those games just on your Switch without it?
Like, I don't if you have the think so. I don't think so, because I think you're gonna, because the way they work, the way they were designed is, it's like the old school, like we were talking about last week, you know, like those books that Leah had that she needed to have the glasses to read the secrets.
Oh, yeah.
It's like those old school 3D glasses, like where you have like the two colors and they're a bit like offset.
Oh,
but once
I see.
you put the glasses and then one eye sees one color and the second one, then it pops into 3D.
Oh,
that's how they trick into it. And I think that's why it was monochrome as well. Because they would use that old ass like two colors like CMYK technology for it.
This red is disturbing. Like, I don't like it.
I mean, I've heard it was like the Power Glove. It's something you knew about.
Yeah.
But nobody you knew had it. You've never tried it.
You've never tried it.
You just, it existed. Maybe you went to Best Buy or Radio Shack or Toys R Us and they had one on display and you got to try it.
Yeah.
And then your mom was like, time to go home. You're not getting this bullshit.
For sure, Radio Shack.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, so Virtual Boy. Big comeback for our boy there. Maybe next year we'll get the Power Glove. And and then like some quick announcement before we go into the Pokemon stuff. They announced Metroid Prime 4 Beyond Switch 2 edition coming in December 4th. And then paid DLC for DK Bonanza called Donkey Kong Island and Emerald Rush. So you get a Donkey Kong Island, which I think if you've played a Donkey Kong game, that makes sense to you, but it means nothing to me.
It does, because they've gone more towards islands as worlds now in the Donkey Kong franchise, but also that island looks a whole lot like the first level of Mario Odyssey.
Oh,
not salty or bitter that I can't play this game, but I just I don't know. Why is it paid? Because Nintendo. I guess I just think I was why?
They get to do what they can and so
I guess
Emerald Rush will be a game mode where you rush through emeralds to collect a lot of emeralds for the enemy. From what I understand, you get a job working for the enemy, and then you'll go around the island doing these challenges. But from what I understand, it also adds a layer to the base game, so now you can go through the base game again. Yes. Instead of doing what you used to do, you then redo the entire game, hunting for emeralds and smashing through emeralds. So that you, again, because you now have a 9 to 5 for the enemy of the base game.
Yeah.
This game is wild to me.
Yeah, I don't get it. So that's fine. I don't need to get it. I'm glad people love it. Like, great. People just are so enthralled with it. Part of me is like, I don't get it. And then part of me is mad that I can't participate in it.
Listen, and I've accepted that I probably will never get to play it because when it comes to motion sickness, you and I have pretty much the same triggers. So I was like, okay, putting the Switch 2 project on the back burner if I can play DK Bonanza. But what if, Joel, hear me out. What if you could play Animal Crossing, but make it a bit more Stardew Valley? But instead of animals, it's Pokemon. And instead of being yourself, you're a Ditto that turns yourself into a little girl. How does that sound to you?
The person who thought up of this concept needs to get a raise immediately and their own gift basket, because I was like, this was genius.
At first I was like, what the fuck?
Amazing.
But please keep going.
Yeah.
And now
amazing.
I'm like, I haven't played Animal Crossing, but I want to play Pokemon Pokopia. Just because the mechanic of, hey, you're a Ditto.
Yeah.
But then to be able to have this sanctuary, forget being a trainer. No, you're a Ditto. And the Ditto's like, I'm a trainer girl now. And you turn yourself into a little white girl.
Yeah.
With brown hair. And you make a farm for your Pokemons.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Give it to me now. And I'm not a Pokemon person, but I was I'm like, this looks great.
You find a Bulbasaur. That Bulbasaur teaches you how to grow grass. So now you're a Ditto.
Yeah.
Transform into a little girl that transforms her arms into little vines to make grass grow.
Amazing.
I'm just
10 out of 10.
Ditto is a blue mage, confirmed. If you've played a lot of Final Fantasy, Ditto is a blue mage, confirmed.
Oh, they even got Final Fantasy in there too. Crazy.
So that's coming in 2026. That's on my list. Like, fuck it. That is so wild to me.
Better be a bundle. Better be a Switch 2 Pokopia bundle, baby.
I'm going to need a bundle of some kind because I'm getting a Switch 2 next year. Pokemon Legends ZA Switch 2 edition is coming October 16th. And then a little spoopy. Resident Evil Requiem. The 9th game in the Resident Evil series. Brand new Resident Evil Requiem coming February 27th. And it's going to be on Switch 2. So that you can yeet that shit across the room.
You can throw it in a box and leave it there for the rest of the month and not pick it back up again.
Yeah, so that's for all you Spoops fan, that's coming February 27th. And they've also announced that Resident Evil 7 and Village, the one with the big tall lady.
Yes,
Step on Me Mommy. Yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Are also coming to Switch 2. I didn't dwell too much on that announcements because Resident Evil gives me the heebie-jeebies and I hate that it exists.
I love watching them. I like watching the games. Oh, except for, oh no. What was the one where they were in the South? Was that 7? With the really creepy family? I don't like that one. I can't watch that one.
Okay.
I don't like that one at all. I was like, this is too much. But the other ones I really like watching. I really liked watching Village for so many reasons. But but Village was fun to watch. So I don't mind watching them. And I'll probably watch when the other spoopy game comes out.
Requiem?
I don't think it's for Requiem. Like I'll probably like watch that. I don't mind watching them, but I'm for sure not playing them. Hell no.
I mean, I can't even watch it. I can't deal well with horror. And like I've said many times on podcasts, right. It's not while I watch it. I don't have any issues while I watch it. It's just later on when I try to get to sleep, my subconscious kind of tries to clean itself. And then it's just nightmare after nightmare after nightmare after nightmare. And I don't get any rest for a week. So I've decided that I like sleep better than I like spoopy games. Mm-hmm. And finally, Joel, I have to buy a Switch 2. because Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave was announced for 2026.
It sure was. There was a big, fat, juicy trailer for that.
Oh. It looks like it's the story this time instead of being a war, because before it was 3 kingdoms and a war and everything, and you could play as one of the kingdoms. And then there was 3 endings depending on which kingdom, but also there was a 4th one where you were like, fuck all of y'all, I'm going with the powers that be. At the end of that trailer, there's a woman sitting on the throne that goes, oh, so much time have passed, you've forgotten about me. She's in Fire Emblem The 3 Kingdoms, the previous game. So I was like, bitch, really? Am I still going to be a dragon? Because you're a dragon in that other one. Spoiler, sorry. But yeah, there's dragon people and shit. I love Fire Emblem. It is so wild. It's a tactical, the gameplay is tactical. So if you like stuff like Disgaea, that's what Fire Emblem gameplay is like, except not as off the top in the weird ass combos that Disgaea, you can make a tower and then kind of fall on people. That shit's weird. Mm-hmm. You don't have that in Fire Emblem, but it's that kind of gameplay. And then you have really intricate stories and usually multiple endings and romance option, and it's anime as shit, but in a good way. So I really, really enjoyed the previous one. So I'm hoping Fire Emblem's Fortune Weave is as good. It seems like the premise is people are going in for a competition, like a bit of a Hunger Game type thing. Mm-hmm. But they announced some of the characters, and there's just like this woman with a lute who's just like, I gotta do this for me. And then some himbo that's just like, I gotta save everybody. And I was just like, absolutely. I'm in. I don't give a shit. Yeah. I was not expecting Fire Emblem so quick. I thought I had another year before I had to buy a Switch 2.
Nope. Cough it up. You better cough it up, lady. Give Nintendo their money. They're going to get it one way or the other.
Yeah, definitely gonna. I hope there's a bundle for Fire Emblem, and then I can have both. And then I can mortgage my house again so that I can buy games to backlog game, possibly. Yeah.
And then play Pokapia.
Play Mario Kart. Fuck, I might even get a virtual... No, I won't get a virtual boy.
Get a virtual boy.
Me and my motion sickness? I can't even play the VR games.
Yeah, forget that.
Imagine
red.
The ones from the 90s.
Oh my gosh, I'm like getting slightly dizzy just thinking about like that red all over. And like, that looks terrible. I wish they would have done a blue. Or something else besides that red.
Listen, like the one thing about where I work is, spoiler warning, it's all a bunch of nerds. So I'm hoping somebody at somebody
else
buys it, and somebody on my teams either buys it or borrows it from a friend who bought it, because they're all giant fucking nerds. And then they usually have like during lunch, they're like, oh yeah, I brought my Switch 2 if you want to try Mario Kart, or they bring their PlayStation 5 and we can try the new fighting game and stuff like that. I'm hoping somebody at one point was like, okay, Virtual Boy lunch hour or Virtual Boy 5 à 7 on Thursday. Who's in? I'll be like, just let me put my eyes in it for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I just want to remember like, 10-year-old Catherine in the fucking Radio Shack just being like, holy shit. And then my mom being like, you're going to make yourself sick. Go away.
Yeah. Get away from there. Yeah.
Stop playing the bad 3D tennis.
That's right.
But yeah, I think with that, that wraps up the show. Mm-hmm. So as always, check out the show notes on girlsongames.ca. I'll put the link to the Nintendo Direct for you to watch. There's always a YouTube embed, and then there's a list just below of clickable links from the Nintendo site. It's honestly the best source. If there's a rating system or a commenting system wherever you're listening to this episode, please rate and review. Not only does it help us with the algorithm for people to discover our podcast, but we appreciate the constructive feedback for us to make the show better. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we'd like to hear what you have to say. We're also on Discord if you want to pop in. So thank you, Joelle, for joining me today. Where can people find you?
People can find me on Instagram at JoelleLauren87, on Blue Sky at JoelleLauren. But always chatting up on the Girls on Games Discord, doing fun reactions to the Direct and other gaming news. So come and say hi.
Yes, when there's big conferences, usually we have people in voice. Most of the time, like people like Darth Judius are there to. So if you want to shoot the shit with people while watching, it's always a good time. So if you want to follow me, I'm CSDSBINS on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, Thread. But I'm mostly on a social media hiatus, so find me on the Girls on Games Discord. If you want to follow Leah, she's Leah Jewer on most social media platform. To follow the Girls on Games, we're the Girls on Games on Twitter and Facebook, Girls on Games on Instagram, Thread, and Blue Sky, and TikTok, I think. Discord.me/girlsongames. That's for the Discord server, like I said. And but if everything you need to know, all the links to these social media sites, to our podcasting platforms, they're all available on girlsongames.ca. That's our home base. Thank you, Joelle. Thank you, Leah. Hope you're feeling better.
Yeah.
And we're off to catch planes in SkyCard because I'm still obsessed.
Yep.
Bye.
Me too. Bye.